Hello, all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. So it's been a couple weeks off, and that's really just due to my daughter finishing kindergarten and us being in summer break, and that being a complete interruption to our rhythm. It's great for her. She gets a break from school. We get to see more of her and do more things together. But finding quiet time to record these videos and even just keep a regular work rhythm has been a challenge. So trying to really settle back into it. I don't know if any of you out there have kids out of school and are experiencing this same interruption, but I can definitely identify with it in a way I was not previously able to identify with it. So it's good, but it has its challenges. So into it on Saturday. It was family day. We rented a tiller and tilled up a portion of our backyard and planted a garden. It's really a brand new experience for us, but it was a lot of fun to do some hard work and get dirty together as a family. So we enjoyed that. And then Sunday was a church day and a family day. And then on Monday, I went to the pizza restaurant I'm working on with the MEP engineer and walked through. That is something I always really enjoy doing because they see things through a different lens than I do. And so it's great to talk to them and get the perspective on things just as they're walking through, taking in information. So generally, try to stay out of the way, ask questions when I have questions, and just listen to them and just tell them, hey, feed me any information that you have that I maybe need to be aware of and things like that. So it's just a lot of fun to do that with them. And so we did that. And then in the process, so this pizza restaurant's been there a long time. The space has been a lot of different things. The electrical room is adjacent to our space, and so almost all the electrical runs over the top of our space. And the engineer, he popped the ceiling tile up, and it disconnected the switch from or wires from one of the LED lights adjacent to where he popped the ceiling tile up. The wire fell out. It was hot. It touched the ceiling grid. Sparks flew. Tripped the breaker. It was really. I'm glad he was safe and no one got hurt, but it definitely was sort of an indication of things to come, that there's a lot of sort of remediation work to do in that space. So that ought to be fun. And then I went and measured a house in the historic district here in Marietta, so to start a project. So in a previous week in review, I had asked about using the iPhone LiDAR scanning, so I did that. I used my wife's phone and went and scanned their house. The scanning process was a lot of fun, and it was very easy and very intuitive to do. I used it inside the Canvas IO app, and I really liked that process. It was a lot of fun. We'll see when we get the model back, the quality of the model. That's really the thing that I need. It is how good is the Revit model when we get it back, and how much do we have to rework, how many more dimensions do I need to go and take and verify and things like that. So that's really my primary concern is when we start working, how much backwards work do we need to do in order to move forward. So we'll see. I still don't have the model back. I'll say too that that's a you can pay for an expedited return, but really I'm supposed to get the model back on the 11th. I'm recording here today on the 9th, and so the wait to get the model returned is kind of long. And so really, I think if I had measured, even though it would take me more time to measure, if I had measured and then built the model myself, I could do it faster than I'm getting this model back. But we'll see. And definitely, depending on workload, it could really make sense. So we'll see. I'm just trying to figure it out, and it's just part of being a small business owner and a solo entrepreneur. I think these are things that we have to try and work through. And if we're going to use new technology, we got to go and figure it out. So that's what we're doing. Then I had a meeting that evening for the pizza restaurant with the historic board here in Marietta. We are replacing the storefront and insetting it into the restaurant a little bit so that we can do regular swing out doors and not impact the sidewalk traffic. It's really replacing like for like, though, in terms of materiality. There's existing black aluminum storefront there, and we're going to replace it with black aluminum storefront in the future. So it was really not an issue. We sailed right through the historic board, which was awesome. So that was good. On Tuesday, I did some financial wrap up from May. I invoiced for time spent in May and deadlines hit in May, and then inserted all that information from the P&L into my financial tracking spreadsheet. maybe I could do this in QuickBooks. I don't really like QuickBooks. I feel like I barely know how to use QuickBooks. So I have an Excel spreadsheet I've talked about before in a previous week in review that helps me track and forecast the financial performance of the business. And so I translate all of that information into that spreadsheet monthly. And so I did that on Tuesday. And then I for the historic home in Marietta that I'm working on, we got the survey back, and there's an addition to the house that's obviously unpermitted. It's just a shed off the back of the garage, but the previous owner somewhere along the line built it, and it's over the property line. So I reached out to the city to say, hey, look, we're about to do this project. This portion of the house is over the property line. You know, what do you have to say? And really, their feedback was pretty positive. They, they see a lot of these things, I'm sure. And so it really comes down to the scale and scope of the remodel. And I think in talking with the owner, he's pretty practical about it, that it's not ideal to keep a piece of the house that's built over the property line if we can comply. So we'll figure out what to do there. But I was happy that the city wasn't, they weren't, mean or aggressive about it. They were helpful and practical. So that was great. On Wednesday, I talked to a client of mine who runs a nonprofit, and for a long time he cooked in churches and church kitchens and sent food out, and that's his nonprofit, is serving people in underprivileged areas or in food deserts hot meals. And so I talked to him because the church building that I'm looking at with the church that we're going to join has an existing commercial kitchen in it, and we're trying to figure out what to do with it, how to use it. At first, I thought, we're a small church. It's a 5,000 square foot building. We don't need a commercial kitchen in there. But then, I thought, okay, we'll just demo it. But I also understand that it's really expensive to build new commercial kitchens. And so if we ever wanted it, it would be, we basically couldn't put it back. And so, and the landlord, even though they've kind of given us carte blanche to do what we want to do with the building, we're changing their asset or the value of their asset if we remove the kitchen. So really, I challenged myself to think about it in terms of, is the kitchen an asset, or can we look at it as a way that is helpful to us as a church or to the community, or however it is. So I reached out to my client to talk through what his experience was cooking in church kitchens, how he thought we could use it, and he gave me some really great feedback in terms of, you must have a plan. If you don't have a plan for it, then it'll definitely fail, and that you really can't rely on volunteers. I think a lot of times churches are reliant on volunteers to operate things like that. But in his experience, it's really a lot of work to run a commercial kitchen, the upkeep, the equipment needing maintenance, and coming in every day, cooking, feeding people, things like that. So I'm not sure ultimately what we're going to do, but it was really helpful to get some outside perspective on it and help me, put some concrete thoughts down and listen to someone else's input, so that as we move forward, I can give some feedback on what I think we should do with it or how I think we should handle it. So that was really great. Glad to have resources like that. I also got my errors and omissions insurance application filled out. That's not something that really is, sexy to talk about, but it's something that is necessary to do. We carry errors and omissions insurance. So, if anything went wrong with one of our projects and, we were liable for damages, we have this insurance. And so I got the application filled out. That was, again, not sexy, but necessary to do. On Thursday morning, I met with the pizza restaurant and an interior designer, and we talked through, I think they had a great connection. I've worked with this interior designer before at a previous job, but he and I haven't actually done a project together. So I'm really excited to bring him in. His business is brand new. He's trying to get it off the ground. So I'm glad that I could help him a little bit by giving him a project. And I'm excited to work with him. I think his perspective is unique, and I think it's fresh, and I think it resonates with the owners. And I think the owners and what they're trying to do, their vision for their restaurant resonates with him. And so I'm really excited to work together. He showed up at the meeting with some sketches in hand and just immediately off the bat provided value. So that was really great, and the meeting went really well. And then later that morning, my wife and I had a meeting with a videography student. So I've talked a little bit before. One of the things I want to do with the business is focus on videography and building out this YouTube channel, documenting our process, documenting projects, things like that. And so we met with her to talk about what that maybe would look like. I think the meeting went really well. she seems really energetic and eager to get after it. And so that was nice. And, I was able to talk about my business and what we want to do. And so it was good. I'm not sure if we'll end up working together or not. We have to talk that out. And there's obviously a big time and finance component that goes along with that to be able to pay her, and the time that I have to dedicate to making those videos. And so it's something that, we've got to be really sure we want to bite off if we're going to do it. So, but the meeting went well, and I was happy to make her acquaintance. Then on Friday afternoon, I have an existing client out in East Cobb who is looking to figure out really how best to use their existing space. They have a very decent sized house, but it's just oddly configured. And so I worked through some ideas of what I thought we could do. They gave some feedback, we made revisions, and then we met on Friday with the general contractor they're going to use to walk through. And he gave some incredible feedback about how he thought he could build it, what the challenges were, constructability issues, budget issues, and things like that. And so we met for probably 2 hours on Friday afternoon and talked through a whole host of things, and it was really, really productive, and I'm very, very glad we did it. So that was Friday. And really, if I could encourage any of you guys, is to get a general contractor on board as soon as possible and solicit their feedback as soon as and as quickly as possible. Because I look at things one way, owners look at it one way, structural engineers look at it one way, and general contractors look at it one way. No one way is the correct way to think about a project. But all together, we can figure it out, and there's no challenge that we can't overcome if we can communicate and talk through what the different variables are. So that's what we were able to do on Friday, is talk through those different things. And so I'm excited. I've worked with this general contractor before. I'm excited to work with him. I'm excited to finish this project up for this client and hopefully give them something that they didn't otherwise think they could have, and that meets their needs and exceeds their expectations in some ways. So that's where we are with that. So that's all we have for now. If you guys have any questions about who we are, what we do, how we do it, or why we do it, leave them in the comments below. I would love to interact with you guys there. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be really helpful to us. And that's all I've got for now. In the meantime, you guys be particular. I look forward to talking to you next week.